Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast session. My name is Abhi, and today we have a guest from Hawaii. His name is Knox. Let's welcome him with open arms and get started to know more about him. He has been a Rich and Niche member for the last 3 months, and right now he is a community manager for Rich and Niche community on Discord. Hey, Knox, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Avi. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. So, can you give me a brief overview of your background, highlighting the aspects that led you to digital marketing?
Yeah, of course. Regarding my background, I've always been into digital presence. So I like making my own digital presence and working on that same aspect for other companies where I would volunteer for some of our nonprofits here. And I actually didn't know it was a career until I found Rich and Niche a couple of months ago. And that's what led me to here. Basically, what made me chase the job was working at the bank, and I really didn't like working for a call center. So it turned out pretty good from there, just getting out of there and solidifying something that I actually like.
Awesome. So, you coming to digital marketing was by accident, if I may say?
Yeah, it was by accident. Originally, I really wanted to get into content creation and just content creation without the marketing part of it. But I found that marketing and the strategy of it all clicks with me a lot. And so mixing that with the content creation, I've found something that is really worthwhile in a career and could establish me long term.
We are lucky to have found digital marketing that way. Great. So, how many years have you been working in digital marketing, if I may ask? And what were your key milestones in your career so far?
Yeah, of course. For milestones, well, for the years I've worked, it's really just been 3 months because I only left my job a couple months ago in early August, like the 1st of August, I was out. And from there, the few milestones I could say I did have was with the nonprofit, our table tennis association here. We call it ADA. We went from really horrible management and then did a huge rebranding and a reopening campaign when COVID was fully out. And we went from like 5 members to 35 members in a couple months. It was really good. And the other nice milestone came from recently when I started my company. A dealership had reached out to me. It was the Surfco dealership in Hawaii for Toyota and Chevy. And they have become my first and my most consistent clients as of today. And I'm looking to expand on that.
Wow. Wow. You're already doing client work? Awesome.
Yes, there's two dealerships, but they are very interconnected. So it makes it a little bit easier for that.
Great. Great. So, what were the primary factors that influenced your decision to pursue a career? Is it the same one that you mentioned earlier, or there was more to the picture?
I would say, well, to push me into the career, definitely working at the bank. I liked working at the bank and I took probably 60 calls a day and I like talking to people. But there got to a point where I stopped learning.
Mm,
And as soon as I stopped learning, I felt this pressure to find something new and to make sure that I'm not like some of my coworkers who've been there for 40 years because that's not me. I know for them, it probably is very fulfilling for them and they can see themselves there for another 20 or so years. But I like job hopping. I like making sure that no 2 weeks of my life are the same because I just want to have a lot of experience in a lot of different fields. With marketing, there's marketing and then there's like the hundreds of subcategories under marketing, like with the copywriting, the SMMA, the funnel building. And that's what kept me here. And that's also what brought me or like kind of brought me over was just how huge it was.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot of things to do. And I keep saying this to my friends and people that I know who want to get into digital marketing that you can find your cup of tea into digital marketing. You like media, get into content. You like technical things, get into analytics of part of it. You
Oh
like to
yeah.
give quick results, get into ads. You are a long-term guy going to SEO, right? So there's
Oh yeah.
so much that we can do. I completely agree with you, right? So to what extent have you combined formal education with self-taught methods in honing your digital marketing skills?
Oh, that's a good one. With my background, I'm actually enrolled in college right now. And so I am pursuing a double bachelor's in marketing and accounting. Both of those are directly going into my personal development, my personal career and starting my own business, just the money side of things, and then just getting deeper into marketing. I do plan on replacing accounting with psychology because I feel like in order to move the traffic of the world, I should understand what makes them move or what makes them think, like judgment, psychology, and such. So putting those together, regarding with what I learned from Rich and Niche as well, the financing and learning how to do bookkeeping, plus what I've learned at Rich and a few other companies, a few other communities as well. I don't know if you've heard of them. We have SMMA Insiders with Connor Truong. We have The Future with Chris Doe and Rich and Niche with Rich. Everything I learned is from Rich's and in the communities, and it's networking and soft skills and maybe some hard skills like the analytics. From college, it's the textbook stuff, the small details that people often leave out. And putting those together have been really, really successful for what I'm trying to do. I really enjoyed doing that.
That was a really well balanced take on the college education, the formal one, and also these courses. So, can I say that taking courses is as important as college education in today's date?
Oh, I would say 100% yes. Because what college really does is college sets you up to find a job in a field, but courses can take that general knowledge and then get you a level of knowledge that's so niche, you become the best at one thing, if that makes sense. That's how I interpret it because I learned marketing and accounting. I know everything about the foundation and maybe intermediate level of marketing and accounting. The courses are what give me this very specific and fine tuned detail that can make me just surpass anybody who also has a degree and sometimes anybody who even has a master's. Because when you get a master's, it's still a little bit general. You go from a category to their PhD teaches them how to do research, but well, how to do research in a particular field. I don't believe that can get you as much work as a course or even like trade school can because it's not as specific to one thing. That's my take on it.
I completely am with you on this take. I second that. So, can you share some experiences or methods that have significantly contributed your growth in digital marketing in the last 3 months?
Some method for methods that have contributed to my growth, I would start with like personal life stuff. Time blocking has become the most important skill I've ever learned is essentially how to start the morning with what you need to do and all the time blocks that you have to complete and kind of like rearranging them on the fly so that if someone comes up to me and asks me to do something for them, I will look at I look at my schedule for the day and then just move time blocks a little bit and it will normally work out really well. On top of time blocking, there's also been the networking that came from going into communities like Rich and Niche. There are so many people at all levels because it's been an established community of just beginners up to the most advanced and most successful. And both those skills of time blocking and networking have been helping me get over like issues that come with entrepreneurship, like the lack of social life or not having time for anything for yourself. And that's been really fulfilling. And I'm not too sure if I answered the question fully there, but that's really what pushes me forward.
Oh, that's the answer that I was looking for. Eventually, I completely agree with you because even for me, networking was important because when I got into digital marketing, I was living in Africa, where I was not
Oh,
born, where I did not have a
mhm.
college, where I did not know anybody apart from my cousin, and there was no network. So networking was really important thing for me. Same thing happened when I moved to Serbia. I hardly knew people over there. I just knew Milos from our community and Rich,
Yeah,
of
Milos,
course.
yeah.
Apart from that, even today when I live in my tier 3 city, when it comes to business network, I think online networks work best, and these communities are the best source for us to meet people from different backgrounds and different geographies and learn from each other. We always have something to learn from each other. So, even for me, networking was one of the factors which is really common. And I know so many of us who are from different parts of the world. Networking is really common, and that happens with these online communities. I want to get on to the next question. What are the most challenging aspects of this career and how have you tackled them so far?
Right. So most challenging aspects of the career, and I did touch upon this a little bit just earlier, is the time management is crazy, but it's a good problem to have because time management is something that you just always really improve on. And then there's social life. I ended up neglecting my social life for a couple months. I actually told everybody as soon as I left my job that I'm going to pull back from everything and just focus on this career for as long as I need to get my foot in the door. And so what ended up happening was 2 months go by. I literally didn't speak to anybody but my girlfriend and my family. And recently I got the client. And so when I got the client, I didn't go back to anybody yet. I instead decided to work with the client for a month first, or a couple weeks actually. It wasn't even that long, and really get good at making systems to make their content so I can make sure I'm efficient while building the business. And once I found that I had like 2 hours of free time during the week, I started reintroducing my social life through that. And I'm very lucky to have friends that are willing to wait that long. And so I'm planning on helping them as well in the future because we used to do a lot of content group together. And we're planning on actually pursuing that again, where we each have our own YouTube channels or Instagrams. And then we each try to make content on our own, but kind of like tag each other and stuff to grow on each other. That's something for that's a whole nother topic, but it's a interesting way to bring the social life back. And I found it incredibly effective of just do the hard work. And as soon as you see like little time blocks where you're not doing anything or you don't have anything to fill those time blocks, it's a good opportunity to bring in your friendships and make time for people that you lost when building everything. I think that's an effective way to do it.
There were some good insights over there. One part of it is you tagging your friends for each other's growth and also keeping in touch with each other and updating each other with what's going on in their lives. I think I can do something similar if possible because I know a few friends who are into these things. And one thing that I learned today from this podcast, the first thing, right? Great,
It's
great
awesome.
answer. Thank you. So
Yeah.
the next one is looking back, are you satisfied with choosing this career path? And what would you have done differently if you wanted to start over?
The biggest thing you'd hear me say when I first got into the career was that it was a career that was made for me because it had to do with digital presence. I always used to think about how to make money online or sell products online and such. And content is just a huge factor of it. And I love making content and being an art director. I am very satisfied with the career I am going on and continuing forward in this line of work. If if I were to go back in time and change something, it would probably be how I allocated my funds because when I left the bank, I had made sure to save enough money where I could sustain myself for at least a year. So I literally did not buy anything for 6 months out of the year I worked at the bank to make sure that when I left, I could do something more and not suffer. And so when I did leave, I not only went into Rich and Niche for learning, I actually have gotten plenty of education through different coaches. One is Camilo Castaneda. He's really good, but he's in my niche with automotive. Then I actually bought into the academy. I believe it was tier two, an amazing academy. They taught me so much that I use every single day with the dealership. Though I don't regret buying these courses and this mentorship and coaching, I do regret the other things I ended up buying. This is the third microphone I've been through. So that's one of them. The light I have here, that light was like, they're not expensive, but it's a lot of small things that I had to throw away and then buy a more expensive version of that because the more expensive version lasted longer and was overall better. So I would have done my research more. I wouldn't have cheaped myself out and like, I would have just bought the expensive thing first because this camera here, this thing sucks and it's like $100. And then I found Camo with the phone and this thing's amazing for $10 a month or a one time like payment of sorts. Just, yeah, more research, but I guess it's trial and error.
There was so much to take in and process. Wow. So these challenges are some things that we all face. And I also use camo. So I understand the challenge that you are facing right now because when I thought about buying webcams, I felt like either they are too expensive, the ones that I wanted, or I don't want to compromise on quality. So I had an old phone lying around. I'm using that sometimes for my webcam,
Wow.
and my main videos that I shoot for YouTube, I shoot them with my iPhone, and that's the reason that I bought iPhone 4. The other challenges that you're talking about, the lights, I agree with you. I ended up buying some cheap lights before, and the
Yeah.
setup that I have right now is not my first purchase. These are definitely not my first purchases. So we have this proverb in India that goes like, "Sasta roye bar bar, mehenga roye ek bar." Sasta means cheap quality things. You keep buying them repeatedly, but the expensive or more, what can I say, quality things, you just buy them once and they
Right.
last longer, which is exactly what you mentioned earlier. So, yeah, let's get on to the next one.
Oh, yes.
So, what are your immediate and long term goals in digital marketing and how do you plan to achieve them?
With my immediate goals, the biggest thing on my mind is to expand my impact. I want to raise the number of the businesses I have impacted. So at this moment, I believe it's four because we have the nonprofit, Rich and Niche, the Surf Co dealership, and I actually helped a friend start a business recently. I want to double that within the month. I want to find four more companies that could use my assistant. And then no matter how much they pay me, at least just grow them. That's my biggest thing right now is that reach. The second thing is, well, actually, I'll go back to the first one because you did ask how I'm going to get there. So going back to the first one, I plan on reaching out to more of these detailers that are here on the island. There's a lot of detailers on this island that do not have a Facebook account, or I see their advertisement and their advertisement was made on like a Word document. And so when I see these people, I want to reach out to them. I want to send them some sample footage or sample images of their company that they have posted, but I re-edit and then try to get them to work with me and use that gifted outreach to expand that number. And I'm also pushing all my friends to start a business. So anyone who starts a business, I'll count as me helping a business. And I just want to see them succeed. So I'll probably look to help with their marketing for like discounted price. But that's the first thing is double the business number that I've assisted. And then the second main thing is my personal branding. I want to make sure that as my business grows, my personal presence grows. I'm a big fan of Alex Hormozy, and I love how he's documented so much of his life. And I've done a lot of documentation myself, but it's that documentation that's inauthentic. Oh, look at how nice my life is at this moment. Oh, look, I've succeeded in some way. I want to show all of my problems that can be posted, not like relationship problems. I want to show the world the business issues I have. So maybe one day someone can watch them. Maybe they're in the same situation, but because I posted about it, they're going to get through it much faster than I did.
The one thing that I liked about your answer is your aspirations to actually double your business in the next month. I wish you all the best for that, Knox. I wanted to ask you, is there anything else that you want to share today with the audience?
Oh, yes. This will be general. It will not specifically be for digital marketing, but I want to say that if you are in a line of work right now and you aren't learning, you don't see a promotion in the next year, and you can save for like 6 months of your living expenses, then I would recommend starting to leave your job and either find a new job that takes all of your experience into account and then raises your bar of success, or start a company, or come along and join us with digital marketing. We're not the only career that you guys can look into. There's hundreds of thousands of careers, and at least one of them has to be for you. You don't have to sit as a McDonald's employee like I was, or in a call center like I did. You have room for growth, and you should bet on yourself at least once a month.
That was awesome. The last line, you should bet on yourself at least once a month, not just once a year or once in a lifetime. I completely want to, I share the sentiment in this regard. Thank you so much for your time today. If people want to find you online once again, what's the best platform? Where can they find you online to get in touch with you?
Yeah, of course. I'm Sovereign Knox everywhere. It You'll find me on Discord under that, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. My main communication platform is Discord, and you can also communicate with me on Instagram for YouTube content if you want to get a glimpse onto my adventure, but also the adventure of all my friends in our circle. For now, we're called Quasar, the content group, and our goal is to take a huge variety of careers and then just kind of show how we grow up together and pursue those things. Like, we have a musician, we have a game developer, we have me, a content marketer. I would love to see you guys tune into that if you'd like.
Awesome. So I'll put the links down below for all those platforms. And thank you once again, everyone, for watching today's episode. And I welcome you to my next podcast where I have another guest talking about digital marketing. Wow. It was an awesome session. See you in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.